Only God can judge me. That right? Only God, baby. Nobody else. Nobody else. All you other motherfuckers, get out my business. Really? Perhaps I was blind to the facts. Stabbed in the back, I couldn't trust my own homies. Just a bunch of dirty rats.
I couldn't help but notice your pain. My pain? It runs deep. Share it with me.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's cold outside. God damn, it's cold outside. Cold as a mother. Hey. Hey.
Put that on that beat.
Second bad, but somebody gotta do it. Got my foot up on the gas, but somebody gotta do it. Turn this TV off.
Quick little drive time. Sorry I be like on here ashing, but I'm driving to Charleston. That loud noise, by the way, that's my AC blowing because I'm in the South, it's humid.
Now, we are following a developing story coming in out of New York City. Take a look right here. NYPD now confirming to Live Now from Fox that a man is in critical condition after police responded to a report of a person on fire inside Penn Station. By the way, Penn Station is the busiest transportation facility in the country. The NYPD saying they responded around 8 last night to a man on fire where they found a 67-year-old man with burn injuries to both legs and his upper body. Now, we did learn he was rushed to a hospital with injuries that the fire department says were deemed life-threatening. Police say the investigation is ongoing and no arrests at this point have been made. And of course, you probably are familiar with this case at this point because this comes just days after a sleeping woman was set on fire, burned alive in a Brooklyn subway, killing her. A Brooklyn grand jury indicted Sebastian Zepeda on charges of murder and arson in that case. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has urged the feds to file federal charges against the Guatemalan native who ICE does confirm was in the country illegally.
And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me.
When I started getting more into my religion, it's just like talk to my pops while he was locked up, talk to my uncle and them. And they like, man, we had the money, fame, the cars, we had the city on lock, we some of the biggest gangsters, and we went to jail and got life. So he like, so what you going through? He like, we been through. He like, so when you call, he like, call vent to your pops, call vent to your aunt. Like, let's talk, let's have a conversation. He like, but I don't wanna hear no crying. I don't wanna hear no complaining. I don't wanna hear no, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't do that. He like, cause I just showed you I did.
At the car wash.
Ooh, oh, oh, oh. At the car wash, yeah. Yo, that's real sad, man. The situation with Dirt is sad. It's just sad all around, man. I don't know. You know, so waste of lives. And for what? But ain't nothing, nobody else ain't nothing said, you know what I mean? Uh-oh. Gotta go.
For Hype Plus News, I'm Ramil Thompson. Activism has been present in the United States nearly since its creation due to practices like slavery and the lack of equality for minorities and women in this country. In America, many civil rights activists became famous for dedicating their life to inciting change, and groups such as the Black Panthers showed unity in working together for a similar cause. Guys like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. are among some of the most well-known figures, with both commemorated on a federal level in some capacity and having a number of documentaries and biographies following their journey. The nonviolent demeanor of Martin Luther King Jr. made him a martyr in the eyes of many as he preached. While there are many that note that Martin Luther King Jr. gained a host of followers from his work, one family member in particular that often goes overlooked is that of his year-and-a-half younger brother, A.D. King. The younger King from his youth appeared poised to follow a different path than his famous older brother. His escapades as a child and the reputation he built prior to maturing into an adult was what people grew to know A.D. for. Nonetheless, A.D. King would change later in life, joining the crusade for freedom via the civil rights movement. Mystery surrounding the death of AD is an interesting one, especially considering the very public nature of his older brother's assassination. With everything AD has done, it would be unfair to compare his achievements to his brother's. However, his work during the civil rights movement and life's accomplishments prior to his untimely death are why AD King should forever be unforgotten. Born just 18 months after older brother Martin, Alfred Daniel Williams King was born on July 30th, 1930. He was the youngest of his parents' 3 children, and as a child appeared to be headed down a rough path. Nicknamed AD by his father, Martin Luther King Sr., the younger brother was not much into academics as a child and built a bit of a reputation for being a bully around the neighborhood. AD would go on to marry Naomi Ruth Barber, whom he met when her family relocated from Alabama to Atlanta, meeting him at a YWCA dance. She recalled King as a young man that was charming and respectful, despite what others often said. On the other side, his older brother easily made friends and was likable to be around. AD was known to be more intimidating, imposing himself on others as opposed to being wanted. This attitude carried into his teen years when, in a shocking move for a pastor's son, AD began having children. With college out of the question for both he and his pregnant wife Naomi, who had been enrolled at Spelman, the two embarked on their life with baby Alveda King in 1951. It was during this time that AD King began to shift his life, working closely with his father at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia. King's work led him to pursuing and completing his degree, graduating from Morehouse College in 1959, and further gearing up his civil rights work as he had grown to understand the mission of his brother's work. Danger was the hallmark of adversity King and others faced during their time, working vigorously to gain equality and better access for African Americans in all aspects of life. A Stanford University piece delves into the early attacks against he and other followers, noting an arrest along with his brother Martin and 70 others during an October 1960 lunch counter sit-in in Atlanta. Nonetheless, this was after he was appointed leader of the Birmingham campaign, and in a move doubling down on his quest for peace, spoke to the crowd following a May 1963 bombing, when famously, AD King climbed on top of a parked car and shouted to the rioters in an attempt to quell their fury. "My friends, we have had enough problems tonight. If you're going to kill someone, then kill me. Stand up for your rights, but with non-violence." The move stunned those in attendance. However, it also further etched his message of change through words instead of what he often referred to as wicked actions. His work did not stop, as in 1965, AD King moved to Louisville, Kentucky, where he would serve as the pastor of Zion Baptist Church.
Little child, running wild, watch your wild.
As the years went on, King continued his works and often traveled alongside his brother to famous meetings around the country. The assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. at Lorraine Motel on April 4, 1968 left AD in shambles as he hysterically saw his brother lying lifeless, having been staying in the hotel beneath him. King's oldest daughter, Alveda, saw firsthand the strain that this left on her father, speaking on it saying, "Of course he was depressed. The whole world was depressed. But he was still functional. He just never got over that because he was killed too soon." Drinking for King became a regular thing, albeit under control. Still, some at the time questioned the stress of the movement as being something that was more of a threat to the life. This led to AD King returning to his home church of Ebenezer to serve as a co-pastor. AD King was found dead on July 21st, 1969. The news shocked Naomi as she recalls bruises and her husband being in the fetal position consistent with him being murdered as opposed to accidentally drowning. Despite the life and works of King during the civil rights movement, his death relatively was overshadowed by other news, with little research into the questionable nature surrounding it. In a piece via the Seattle Times, his wife Naomi speaks out about the lack of attention as it was revealed that even his death was obscured by other events. As his body was being taken to the morgue, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were walking on the moon. How can you be forgotten if you've never been known? AD and Naomi's daughter's reaction was found via dispatch. The source recorded Alveda, who said, "Daddy was killed and put in the pool. When they pulled the body out, they began to pump his chest, but no water came out. One of the emergency people said he was dead when he hit the water." A call to his daughter exacting revenge on those that had killed his older brother was held just the night before the death, adding another complicated element to the mix. Many remain torn over what truly happened with Naomi having her story and first-hand account, while others have provided theories with strong evidence saying otherwise. One of the more notable explanations for the mystery death is that of a heart attack, according to a young Jesse Jackson, and this was only further proven to him as time went on. "I think he had a heart attack in the swimming pool. He was swimming at night by himself. There was never any evidence of foul play." Jackson also made note that 2 of King's children died young from heart attacks, as well as a third that passed at an older age, showing a history of heart illness in the family. In a show of respect and memory of King, Naomi went on to create the A.D. King Foundation in a mission to promote conflict resolution through the means of non-violence. The documentary titled A.D. King, Brother to the Dreamer came in 2009 in an effort, according to Naomi, to highlight her husband's works, bringing him to the forefront as he had, in her eyes, always been in the background, but nonetheless created many good memories for others. In another move showing just how big a part of history A.D. played in the movement, his former home recently became a bit of a landmark. On September 24, 2020, the U.S. Department of the Interior designated his Birmingham home that had been bombed in 1963 as a part of the African American Civil Rights Network. The move came decades later, but still meant a lot to the family, as one of their daughters, who was only 12 during the incident, accompanied Naomi King as she expressed gratitude for the move and what it says about society now. "He was the love of my life," Naomi King said during Thursday's ceremony held in a tent setup on the front yard of the house. "It means the world to me," she said of the designation as she sat next to the Secretary of the Interior. "People are people and love has no color." There is no denying the overwhelming impact of those who dedicated their lives to change during the civil rights movement. No matter how big or how small something seemed, the risk and foundations that could be used as a blueprint moving forward forever changed American life for African Americans. Working in the shadows of perhaps the most famous figure of the era is no easy feat, and even tougher when you have to work your way up from a poor reputation. For this reason, the works of Alfred Daniel William King, aka AD, should stand the test of time to be celebrated like any other American hero. He shall remain forever unforgotten. Stay up to date with the latest news and comedy by subscribing here to our YouTube channel, follow Hype Plus across all social media, and look out for original content on our new streaming service. For Hype Plus News, I'm Ramil Thompson.
This isn't in New York City, this is in New York State, but live picture there over New York City Harbor there in Lady Liberty. What I want to do now, because we heard from New York Attorney General Letitia James, also from Governor Kathy Hochul, James releasing footage from the investigation into the death of Robert Brooks here. I want to put this tweet up. This is from our colleague there at Fox 5 New York, Linda Schmidt, with body camera footage there. Now remember, viewer discretion is advised. She says, upstate prisoner beaten to death. Correction officers' body cam videos were released today by Letitia James in the death of Robert Brooks at the Marcy Correctional Facility. And Hochul has issued a statement as well. It says 14 people will be fired over this. So this is an ongoing investigation into the death of Robert Brooks. He died December the 10th of this year after an encounter with New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision officers. This was at Marcy Correctional Facility in Marcy, New York. That's in Oneida County. Now, the day before, on December the 9th, Brooks was transferred from Mohawk Correctional Facility to Marcy Correctional Facility. Those are both in the same county, Oneida County, according to James. Brooks, she says, who was handcuffed with his hands behind his back, was then taken into a medical examination room where the events captured in the video took place here. So remember, we want to bring you some of this body camera video. Viewer discretion is advised. Let's take...
Man, go back and listen to Kendrick's Mortal Man, where he's having a conversation with Tupac, right? A mock conversation with Tupac. But go back and listen to the things that Tupac is saying. You know, Tupac people call Tupac prophetic, and that he was predicting this and that in his songs and his lyrics and stuff like that. But go back and listen to what Tupac is saying on Mortal Man, and remember those words. Remember those words. Anyway.
All right, so this was just released today by the office of New York Attorney General Tish James here. And so what you're watching right now is the moment in the wake of the transfer of Brooks from one facility to another here. So according to James, when he was transferred to this medical examination room, you're going to see it in just a moment, he was pronounced dead in the early morning hours of December 10th. But the action here, all right, we're going to watch it. Viewer discretion is advised. And there is Brooks there after being transferred from one facility to another. You are going to see the actions, and it's very difficult to watch. It's graphic. Officers there appearing to beat Brooks there. All right, so if you're just joining us for this story, this is what we know. This body-worn camera released by Attorney General Tish James's office that appears to show members of the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision officers there at Marcy Correctional Facility beating Robert Brooks. Brooks was handcuffed with his hands behind his back. He was then taken to a medical examination room there where the events captured in the video took place, she says. Now, Brooks was then transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead in the early morning hours of December the 10th there. Now, Governor Hochul's office said 14 members here have been fired for their role in this. We also are getting statements in from elected leaders in New York. We're going to step away from this video. You're going to hear from James in just a second here. Let's put this up. So this is from State Senator of New York, Rob Ortt. He says this: I'm sickened by the brutal and senseless attack at Marcy Correctional Facility. The footage is absolutely appalling, and these violent actions cannot be tolerated. While this incident will understandably outrage New Yorkers, it's important to recognize that this horrific event does not reflect the dedicated service of the countless correction officers who risk their lives every day to maintain order and safety in our prisons. He says those responsible must be held fully accountable. There is no excuse for this behavior. That's from New York State Senator Rob Ortt. In the meantime here, let's play the original announcement today by New York State Attorney General Letitia James.
Good afternoon. Today my office is releasing video from the investigation into the death of Mr. Robert Brooks. Mr. Brooks had been incarcerated at Mohawk Correctional Facility and was transferred to Marcy Correctional Facility on December 9th. During the incident, he was handcuffed with his hands behind his back. He was pronounced dead at Wynn Hospital in Utica on December 10th. I do not take lightly the release of this video, especially in the middle of the holiday season. But as Attorney General, I release these videos because I have a responsibility and duty to provide the Brooks family, their loved ones, and all New Yorkers with transparency and accountability. My deepest condolences go out to Mr. Brooks's family. Under New York law, my office investigates every case in which an officer of the law, including a correctional officer, may have caused the death of a civilian. On December 16th, my office announced that it had opened an investigation into Mr. Brooks's death. As in every case, the attorneys and investigators in my office are conducting an exhaustive review of the facts and the evidence. As Attorney General, you have my word that we will use every possible tool available to us to investigate this death thoroughly and swiftly. As part of the investigation, my office obtained video from body-worn cameras that 4 of the correction officers were wearing at the time of the incident. The 4 officers had their body-worn cameras powered on, but did not activate them. So their cameras were recording video in standby mode without recording sound. My team met with Mr. Brooks's family earlier this week, and they viewed the footage. These videos are shocking and disturbing, and I advise all to take appropriate care before choosing to watch them. We are releasing 8 videos today from 4 officers' body-worn cameras. 4 videos, one from each officer, that each run for the full 30 minute length of the standby mode recording, and a second version of the same 4 videos, which have been cropped to show only footage involving Mr. Brooks and the interactions between the officers and Mr. Brooks. Again, I encourage taking caution before viewing. I want to reiterate that we are investigating this case thoroughly and using every tool at our disposal to ensure that there is transparency and accountability for the events that preceded Mr. Brooks's death. I also want to make clear that this video and the conduct of these officers should not reflect poorly on the work and professionalism of the countless correction officers and correctional facility nurses throughout the state who go to work every day to protect and serve those in their care. And now we will play the 4 cropped videos I mentioned earlier. And all 8 videos will be.
All right, so that was the message there from Tish James. So wanted to make sure we got that in. We do have the statement up from New York Governor Kathy Hochul here. Let's put this up. She says, like all New Yorkers, I was outraged and horrified after seeing footage of the senseless killing of Robert Brooks. She goes on to say, I have been clear that is the responsibility of the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision to provide appropriate care and protection for those in its custody, and I will not tolerate anyone who violates that responsibility. She says that is why I ordered an immediate and full investigation into the death of Robert Brooks and further directed DOCCS Commissioner Martuscello to begin the termination process for the 14 individuals who were involved in his fatal attack. The state of New York has zero tolerance for individuals who break the law, and I am committed to holding everyone involved fully accountable. Once again, I want to offer my deepest condolences to Brooks's family and loved ones as they grieve his tragic death. I am grateful to the Attorney General and her team, our state police, and everyone working with us to ensure justice is served in this case here. So wanted to make sure we put that statement up as well, covering this story from all sides, all angles there, and definitely that body camera footage, very difficult to watch. If there are any more updates on this story, we'll make sure to bring them to you. But let's take a quick commercial break. We'll see everyone in just a moment.
Dressed in fatigues, black jeans and boots. Disappeared in the crowd, all you seen was truth. This little nigga named Nas think he live like me. Talk about he left the hospital, took fire like me. You live in fantasies, nigga, I reject your deposit. We shook Dre punk bands, now we out of the closet. Mob deep, wonder why, nigga, blow them out. Next time grown folks talking, nigga, close your mouth. Beat me, I take this war shit deeply. Done seen too many real players fall to let these bitch niggas beat me, puffy. Let's be honest, you a punk or you would see me with gloves. Remember that shit you said, the vibe about me being a thug? And you can tell the people you roll with whatever you want. But you and I know what's going on. Payback, I knew you bitch niggas from way back. Witness me strapped with Max, knew I wouldn't play that. All you old rappers trying to advance, it's all over now, take it like a man. Niggas looking like Larry Holmes, flabby and sick. Trying to play a hate on my shit. You eat a fat dick, let it be known that's how you made me. Loving how I got you niggas crazy. Against all odds.
He's leading the troops. When you work for a man like that, you follow him anywhere. Because you know his heart is true and you know his meaning is there. and everything about him is genuine. He's the same man every time. My office is across from his. It's the same dude every morning. That music's playing, he'll come out with a little bounce in his step, smile on his face, greet you with a good morning, hug your neck. I mean, I understand why, so many people are looking at it with a side eye and different things because it's an unconventional way. It's Prime's way. Yeah. But I've always learned in the NFL that if you're gonna go down with what you know and your stuff.
Women today are a lot more aggressive in our approach to life in general.
Right.
And we've done more work than them. So we have some things that are solid that they don't. And they've got to catch up.
Now, what do you mean by we're more aggressive, women today, and why do you think that is?
Well, oh, Lord, help me.
It's okay. Listen, we know how you get down. Come on,
say
it
it
to us.
Say it, beloved.
We have become what I call men in skirts.
Mm-hmm.
We are so aggressive, so demanding, so unaware, really. We think we got it going on, but women really aren't aware of their power because our power as women is silent. If you really know what you're doing, you can work a room.
Yeah. I've been told I'm bossy.
Yeah.
In relationships.
We are, because I think we've been left alone and up to our own devices for too long. I find women to be mean as hell. I'm sorry. We're
Really?
mean.
Oh my
yes.
gosh. Am I mean?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Jasmine, are you mean?
A little bit.
Yeah, you might be.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit.
we're mean.
I'm more straight. I mean, you're more passive. You'll be mean on the inside and not say, and I'll say, hey, or
But see, I'm an alpha woman, so I'm straightforward too.
Yeah.
I'm in your face and on your world, but I'm not mean.
Okay. Are you aggressive?
No, I'm assertive.
Okay.
I'm not aggressive.
What's the difference?
Well, first of all, your intention.
Okay.
And assertiveness, it's about dominion and accomplishing a particular thing. And aggressive, it's about control and getting what you're going for.
I don't wake up every single morning, hop out of bed and say, I can't wait to go run 11 miles. Especially when I have family responsibilities, work responsibilities, there's stressors in life, obviously. I don't want to or love every single one of those runs, but I know and understand that it's part of the process. And because through repetition, I've seen the direct result of enduring a process, I know it's part of what I have to do. There's no choice. If I want to grow, if I want to get better, if I want to accomplish a certain thing, I have to. I have to do that thing. I have to go run. There is no option other than to run. You're not going to love every part, every ingredient of the process or every single day, but realizing that it contributes to the outcome. It contributes to the goal. It contributes to the result. That's why it's so important to have purpose and a reason and a strong why behind what you're doing.
What you mean, black? Baby, I'm colored. I don't play that shit.
My parents was like that, because in my neighborhood, there used to be some beautiful black man would come through the neighborhood dressed in African shit, really nice shit, and they'd be, peace, love, black is beautiful. Remember the essence of life. We are people of the universe, and life is beautiful. My parents go, that nigga crazy. I used to love to go to the meetings, though. When you get down, I got ultra black for a while. The brothers be rapping. I never knew what they were saying, though. But the brothers be having emotion. You see, the first thing you got to know is about eating pork. Now, you eat a piece of pork, you don't realize the subtleties of this individuality's prospect. What the man trying to lay on you through porkitis, you will not understand because the trichinosis of your mind will not relinquish the thought of individuality.
So?
Man, it's quite interesting that 30 days ago, this set of people was like, politics are bad and everything's corrupt and the elections are rigged and they're all out they're all against them. Now 30 days later, election happens. Now all of a sudden the elections aren't rigged, they're real, the system works, and now all of a sudden politics and politicians ain't that bad. They feel heard all of a sudden. All right, man, I feel you. The difference is, really, truly oppressed people, we don't get to just change the tune, or they don't get to just change their tune, when an election happens. They don't stop being oppressed when the election happens. But anyway,
about a plan to buy Marvel, the comic business, back in 2001 or 2, I think it was. Let's listen to this.
We could easily go into Universal and buy. We would own Jaws, E.T., Close Encounters, all the classics from Universal. Own all of that stuff. And that will allow us to do a channel. Part of the Marvel channel can be not only the Marvel characters, but Marvel films, like the catalog. We could do anything we want, from restaurants to retail, theme parks.
Now, you actually got the financing in place, I believe, for this deal. Then came the scandal court cases, and it all got put on the back burner. Disney ended up buying Marvel and doing exactly what Michael had predicted and making a fortune, I think. About a plan to buy Marvel, the comic business, back in 2001 or 2, I think it was. Let's listen to this.
I see them turning Sexy Red and Ice Spice into full-fledged stars in the last 6 to 8 months. Nobody can tell me anything. It's not a talent thing. It's not a popularity contest. It's a select thing. We have to be selected. Back then, the old way of having talent and imposing your will and your presence up in these labels was still kind of honored. Now it's not. Whatever artists don't take whatever the label got the layout for them, they just pass it on to the next artist or label. I was up at Bad Boy. Chopper was supposed to be the flagship artist of Bad Boy South. When he didn't take the deal, Young Jock became the flagship artist of Bad Boy South. Get this. Chopper's name of his album was New Jack City. When he got scrapped, Jock stepped into the position, New Jock City.
Ask a million questions like Jock, where you stay? Tell him College Park.
what would happen if you ate sea moss exclusively for 30 days? I don't know. Let's see.